Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first Sunday Sweat Club of the year. I'm so happy that you're here. I have something a little different planned for today, as for every day, because I like to give myself new challenges. So today will be a class, and I hope I don't eat my words because I'm really struggling. Today will be a class where we don't stand up. That does not mean it's going to be easy. It's just going to be different. And I'm going to ask you to think about how you're moving a bit more. And then we'll work towards, as always, our peak pose, which is actually one of my favorite yoga poses and also a super hard pose. So what that means is we're going to stop and break it down and start with really small levels because that's how we begin, right? We make it manageable first, and then maybe one day we try the full version of the pose. So yeah, I think that's about it. Why don't we start in child's pose today? We're going to be doing a lot of work with the hips. So find your version, either our supported child's pose, which means your knees will be together, your chest down, or take your knees super wide so you can bring them as wide as you possibly can, wider than you normally would. Sit your butt back and then walk the hands forward. Option to always put a bolster or pillows under your hamstring, between your leg and your hamstring, to get yourself a little more comfy. And then find a version of the posture that you can hold for at least the next 3 minutes. In yin, we often practice the idea of stillness in the sense that you commit to staying exactly as you are. So once you've found your posture, I'm going to ask you to do that in this beginning meditation where you commit to staying exactly as you are, as long as you are in a safe range of motion. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Close your mouth. Inhale deeply through your nose, all the way into your low abdomen. Allow your belly to draw outwards. And then as you exhale, open mouth exhale, but slowly. See if you can make it sound like you're sighing into a cave, right? You're surrounded by your body. So you have this almost echo of the breath. Again, draw the breath as deeply as you can into the lungs, into the low abdomen, then expand to the back body. Open mouth exhale slowly, like you're fogging a mirror, sighing into your own little cave. Draw a breath in. Feel your belly button extend down to the floor. Then draw the breath more into the lungs and your upper body. Feel your back expand, your collarbones and shoulder blades expand. Then close your mouth this time and sigh out slowly out the nose. So imagine you're sighing out the mouth, but your mouth is closed and the air is instead coming out your nose. We'll take that again. Inhale, belly first, ribs on the sides of your body, ribs on the back of your body, your collarbones, shoulder blades, the fullest breath you've taken yet, maybe an extra sip of air. And then exhale slowly out the nose, constrict the back of the throat slightly like you're sighing. And it should make that same kind of oceany wave. What we're trying to do here is work on your ujjayi breath. So if you know this already, that's fine. You can start taking it. Otherwise, once more with me, we'll try to cultivate it. Inhale, breath comes into that low belly. Maybe this time it's all the way down to your pubic bone, your pelvis. Then your low ribs expand, your side ribs, your back, your chest, collarbones, shoulder blades. You have so much air in your lungs. Take one more sip of air. And then slow sigh out the nose with this noise that's like, but just with your mouth closed. Constrict the back of the throat, fog the mirror one more time. Inhale. Start to cultivate your breath for the practice. So maybe it's a 5 count, maybe it's a 6 count. And then once you get to your exhales, you can just exhale out the nose normally, or you can try this constriction and this sigh with the mouth closed out the nose. What this does is it stimulates the nerve in the back of our throat, and it will actually slow your heart rate down, which, let's be honest, sometimes we need in yoga, right? Take another cycle of breath. And those of you who are practicing with someone else in the room, I want to encourage you to not worry about the noise or the sound of your breath. When you're in a really packed yoga class, you'll hear everybody's breath like a crashing ocean wave. So don't be shy on your exhales. Allow that constriction to continue. And maybe one day we'll have it on both the inhale and the exhale. But today we're just starting with the exhale. Take one more cycle of breath in. Maybe your 5 count, maybe your 6 count. And then your Ujjayi exhale, emptying the lungs, forehead firm on the mat. If you've committed and been able to stay still this whole time, congratulations. If not, no worries. We build, right? We build to where we want to be. So push into all 10 fingers, raise your forearms up off the ground, lift your forehead up off the mat, and then start to pull yourself up to a tabletop pose. Once you're in tabletop, find your wrists under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. And then just take really subtle movements. Rock your butt side to side, left and right. And bring your awareness to just how your lower body's feeling after that extended hold of the pose. Come back to center. 2 options here, toes tucked or untucked. Actually, 3 options, toes tucked or untucked. You're going to take a seat back onto your heels. So you might be here, you might be here, or if none of these are an option for you, which is just fine, you can come around to your butt, and I'd like you to be in staff pose. Whatever you've chosen, we're holding for 1 minute. Left hand to the heart, right hand to the low belly. Close your eyes. I'm going to ask you once more to commit to stillness, and this is where we set our intention today. So a lot of classes, I help you set an intention, but it's likely that because it's the new year, you might have a intention or maybe a word, something you're looking to bring into your life or commit to in the new year. So let's set that as your intention. And a reminder that you can set this intention every single class for the rest of the year if you like. Take a breath in. Breath out the nose. Breath in. Imagine that intention, this thing being drawn into your body, your resolution, and your breath out the nose. No matter where you are, come forward to tabletop. So if you're in a seat, make your way back to table. And then we'll move through a few cat and cows. Drop your belly, roll your shoulders back. Gaze high, hold cow pose. So let's take a couple cycles of breath. And as you do this, I want your core engaged. So the belly's actually pulling up and in despite the fact that we're back bending. Then try to roll your shoulders back and squeeze your shoulder blades together. See if you can get more of the bend to come from the upper spine. Last but not least, your gaze can be at the third eye, maybe close your eyes or at the tip of your nose if you like. And then exhale, round cat pose. Same intention here. I want all of your supporting core muscles drawing in,
But then as you push into the hands, can you round through the upper spine as much as possible? Tuck your chin, gaze at your belly button. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. And then last but not least, since we have so many cues for these relatively quote unquote simple poses, I want you to continue the breath, expand the diaphragm with the core engaged. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale back to center. Exhale, kick your feet to the side, sit your butt back, and then we're going to come to lying down on our back. So option 1, you can just lay down. It's the beginning of the year. You decide what you want to do. Option 2, can extend through a little Navasana. Notice I want the pelvis tilted forward in Navasana. So you can kind of tilt and not round through the low back. Reach the hands long. Maybe feet are lifted, maybe toes are on the floor. Fingertips stretch and then start to reach the feet as you lower the upper body down. And I want your low back, mid back, upper back, head to release, and then feet come to the ground, hands by your sides. Push your left foot into the ground, draw your right knee up towards your armpit. So you're going to lift the right knee as high as you can. Remember, I said today is a class where we're going to be working all on the ground, but that does not mean we're going to be laying and chilling on the ground. So if you look at my left foot, my foot is super flexed. The front of my shin is engaged, and I want you to flex as little or as much as you want. Ideally, you err on the side of much, right? You know me, much is good. Now, pull that right knee up higher and higher and higher, as close as you can get into the armpit. You should feel your hip flexor in there being like, then reach your right foot towards the ceiling. So I've got a bend. We're working towards a half happy baby. If this is too much, you can bring the left foot to the ground. Otherwise, reach your hand to the outside of your calf or your foot and then pull the knee down into the armpit. So if you watch, I'm plugging my shoulder down. The knee is going to come to the outside of my tricep rather than the inside if I can. So see this, knee on the outside, pulling, and then the foot is imagining that we're standing on the ceiling. Now, if you have your foot extended, I want you to just hover it off the ground about 2 inches, pulling the toes back, pushing through the heel. If your foot is on the ground, that's fine too, but I want you to press the foot into the ground, right? So you have the opposing action. So either way, our left foot is doing something as you pull the knee down in towards the armpit, reach the foot towards the ceiling. We are prepping, like I said, for a kind of wild pose today. But the best part about this is that every pose has building blocks. So even if this is all you did today, you would be preparing for the first step of the pose. Hold, keep that left foot alive. 3, 2, 1. Now, listen carefully. I want you to keep your right foot exactly where it is. Release the foot and hold it there. It's almost as though the hand is still there, right? Then extend the right foot up to the ceiling as straight as you can get, and then lower it down to hover next to the left, or just extend it if your foot's on the ground. With the feet hovering, hold 3, 2, and then 1. Now, left foot will come up, 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 up to the ceiling. Straight leg if you can. Then bend into the knee and draw the knee into the chest as high as you can get it. Let's release the right foot down to the ground. Just because we started with this on the other side, we don't need to hover it the whole time. So right foot can relax, or remember, right foot can be here. Now, as you pull the knee in, I want you to feel the hip flexors fire up. We're just preparing. Then reach the left foot towards the ceiling. So I've got my bend. Ideally, I'm going to reach my hand either here to the outside of the ankle or bring it all the way up and then check out my knees on the outside of the tricep. So foot imagines we're standing on the ceiling, about a 90-degree bend in the leg. If you are a fan of doing it this way, where the hand flips to the inside, I encourage you to try and do it with the hand on the outside. This is because I want the shoulder to rotate outwards. Pull the knee in, plug the shoulder down. Now we can hover that right foot while the right leg is super engaged. If I were to come around and poke you in the quad, your quad would be rock solid. Option to be here. If you're here, you're pushing the right foot down into the ground. You're not hovering the hips, but you have the push of the foot, right? We're all working together, no matter what we're doing. Find your intention for this last bit. Plug the left shoulder down to the mat. It's easy to creep up, mine did, so that's why I cued it, because I was like, oh, Flex through both feet. 3, 2, now we listen carefully. 1, I want you to release the foot, but keep it exactly where it is. So hand releases, hand can come down by your side. So both hands down. Now straighten the left leg up to the sky, as straight as you can get it. And then you'll bring it very slowly with control and a chill face all the way down to hover next to the right foot, both toes curled back. 3, 2, if your foot was bent and knee was bent, you can meet us here. 1, release the feet down to the ground. Great work. Inhale, sweep your hands high. Look at this. I'm imagining we're at the top of the mat standing. Exhale, hands can come to heart center. Let's take that again. Inhale, sweep the hands high, reach them up. Exhale, listen carefully. Hands to heart center, draw both knees up into the chest. Inhale, hands high, heels hover. Exhale, both knees into the chest. Inhale, hands high, heels hover. Exhale, both knees into the chest. Only 40 more of these. Just kidding. Inhale, hands high, feet hover. Exhale, both knees into the chest. Hold. Lift your shoulders up off the mat. Chin comes towards your hands. Squeeze yourself into a tiny ball. Draw the knees as close as you can to your face. 3, 2, 1. And then release. Extend the legs long. Head comes down. Hover the heels. 2, 1. Release. Great job. Hands by your sides. Let the toes fall out. A very brief Shavasana. Breath in. And a breath out. One more breath in. And out. Okay, hands come back into the ground by your sides. Draw your knees back up into your chest, maybe one at a time, or maybe 2 knees, squeeze, and then place the toes on the floor, hip width distance apart, coming to a bridge pose. Press the hands into the ground. Inhale, lift the hips up. Now, first bridge of the day, this is counteracting a lot of the movements that we just did. So I want you to see if you can push into your big toe first, your pinky toe next, and then lower the rest of the toes in the middle down. Squeeze through the glutes, lift the hips higher, place the palms onto the ground firmly. Maybe you can shimmy the triceps together to lift yourself up even more. One of the things that is most common with my students is in this pose, their hands will lift up kind of like this. I want your palms glued to the floor, your pinkies glued to the floor. Lift, hold, breathe. 3, squeeze to the glutes, allow your hamstrings to help you here. 2, and then 1. Lower the hips down to the ground. Now we're going to take a couple rock and rolls to a seat. I'm going to give options as per usual. Option 1, you're just going to rock and roll yourself up. Take about 5 or 6 of them. Option 2, and then I'll move you into the pose. Option 2 is you're actually going to take a one-legged rock and roll, and we're going to start on the right side. So the left knee can be in towards the chest. The right leg can be high and long. You can either do hands or no hands, and you can rock yourself up. 1, 2, 3. Remember, if you fall over, that's great because that's funny. And we like funny things happening in yoga. And then come on up. So once you're here, you will have noticed I rock and rolled up, right leg's forward, left knee is in as tight as I can get it. So I want you to grab it with your hand and draw it in. Now, chances are that a lot of you might be a little bit here. It might be easier for you to be here because you feel like you're hunching, right? It's a lot harder to have that forward pelvic tilt. So you want to tilt your pelvis forward. Sorry. If you're here, great. If you're here, that's fine too. I want you to have your fingertips rolling back, chest forward. Now, push into your left foot. Feel the engagement of the toe, the heel. We might be here, right? Hands can be here, hands can be here. Next, try to hover your right foot up off the ground. If your leg is lifting all the way up here, then you need to close the ankle. Because as you can see for me, I'm like, this is probably about the highest I can lift, and I train this a ton. So it shouldn't be easy for you. You're holding, squeezing. If you're here, you're holding, squeezing. 3, 2, 1. Release the leg down. Inhale. Pull the chest up towards the sky. Exhale, stay where you are. Round 2, push the left foot into the ground. Inhale, reach the right heel up. To make it harder, you'll lean forward, forward, forward. So if you're having an easy time, just try and lean. Squeeze, your legs should be quivering. My inner thigh is like, woo. Curl the toes back. 3, 2, 1, release. Breath in. If you want to take a break, you can. Breath out. All right, let's do it one more time. Inhale back to center. Find your version. Now, this time we're going to add in lateral movement. So inhale, lift the foot up, squeeze, and then widen the foot out to the right as far as you can get it. Keep the heel hovering, bring it to the left. This foot's gonna get into the way, that's okay. Widen the foot out to the right as far as you can get it. Back to center, left. And then here we go, we're gonna widen, 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 widen. Oh, and release that leg down to the ground. Now you can take your left knee, allow it to fall out, and look it, we're in a nice, beautiful little stretchy pose. So once you're in this version of the pose, a few options. Again, I will allow you to be leaning back as long as you're gluing the left knee down to the ground, your right foot is flexed. If you can sit up, lift your butt up and tilt your pelvis forward, stick your booty out, sit the butt back down. Inhale your hands high, reach, and then exhale, start to lean over that leg. Your opposite hand will extend and either up and over. I'm going to give your what would we say, dealer's choice, or reach the hand up to have it parallel. The goal is to keep both shoulders pointing forward. So you might have your elbow on the ground on the inside of the leg. You might have your hand to your foot and try to pull the shoulder under as you reach. You might be here, or here, or here. These are all viable options. All I ask is that the torso pulls in and up for 3, 2, and then 1. Using your core strength, inhale, lift yourself up, hands high. Exhale, release, hands by your sides. Okay, we're coming out because we have to do the other side. But in order to get out, we're doing it with control, which means with no hands. So option to lean back if you need. If you can, listen, try to lift the left foot up off the ground. Ooh, and then rotate the knee in. Now place the foot in by your butt and release. Hands can come here or hands back here. I've got a cramp in my glute. Remember, cramping is good. It just means we're asking our body to do weird stuff. Now, lift your right heel to hover, squeeze through the legs, slow and controlled. I think at home, you're probably like rushing through this. Look it, we're going slow. We're doing this together. Time, out, 3, 2, and 1, release. Perfect. Then how did we get in? You may remember option 1, just switch the legs. Option 2 is you're going to roll back, switch your legs, and then do 3 rock and rolls on the opposite side with the left leg extended, maybe 4, however many you did on the other side, right? Extend, reach, come on up, there we go. Round 2, bring the foot in towards the butt. Hands can either be here on the knee, or you can be back here, but I don't want this to be easy. I want to emphasize we're working on strengthening. So if you're here, hands strengthen, tilt your pelvis forward, flex through your left foot, and now we all just lift together. Maybe we make a chill face that like nothing is happening, when in reality our leg is like, because that's what's happening with my leg. Hold, squeeze, 3, 2, 1, release. Foot comes down, take a breath in, and a breath out. Inhale, lift up, hold, squeeze, round 2. Remember, we're being chill, we're breathing. You might be practicing your ujjayi breath on your exhales where you're constricting the back of the throat. 3, 2, 1, release. Aha, breath in and out. You're making it look easy, I'm sure of it. Now, inhale, lift the left leg up, hold and squeeze. 3, 2, 1, release. Okay, everyone can come back, take a little break. You might remember our next thing we're going to add in is our lateral movement. So while you're doing this, I want you to focus on being in control, right? It's not just about moving and making the movements, it's about controlling the movements. That's what counts. Come back up to your version of the pose. Hands either to the shin or by your sides. Roll your shoulders back, plug them down, and then inhale. Lift the foot up. Left foot comes up, widen out to the side. Oh my God. Inhale back to center. Exhale wide into the side. Yep, it's crazy. Inhale to center. Exhale wide to the side. Hold, hold, hold. You can do it. I'm going to rotate and release. Leg comes down. I should probably be a little more like this. Okay, leg comes down, and then you can take and drop that right knee out to the side. So we sort of just adjust to set up a little bit. Your heel should be in towards your pelvis if you can. We don't need to show off too much having the leg that wide. Inhale, lift the hands high. Exhale, a side bend over. So do what you did on the opposite side. Elbow can come down, maybe foot to hand. Maybe you're up here and you're just reaching. Remember, the one thing I care about is that both shoulders are pointing forward. So if you find yourself rounding down, no, we want to open that right shoulder to the sky, then reach the hand up and over. If you can, plug the left shoulder under so the neck is nice and long. Hold and breathe. 3, 2. Is your left foot flexed? Because it should be. And 1. Inhale with control, back to center. Both hands reach. Exhale, hands come down to the ground. Okay, remember, we have to come out the same way we came in because it's a rule that I made up. And in order to do that, you will push your hands down into the ground. Maybe you'll lean back, but try to lift the right foot and the right heel up off the ground. It's crazy. Yeah, it's really hard. It's fine. Then draw the knee into the chest. Try to plug that foot in, squeeze, 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 and release. You can use your hands to help you at this point. Now, we're going to bring the foot back to center. We can do this, team. Prepare. Take a breath in. And then lift the left foot very slowly with control. You better not be beating me. You're going to bring it to center. You're going to keep hovering. If you have 9 million cramps in your quad, that means you're human and normal. 2, 1, release. Fantastic work. Coming out, you're going to roll back. Onto your backs, reach your left leg high, your right leg high, and then kick yourself forward. Come to a staff pose. So hands by your sides. Adjust my mat here. Hands by your sides, and then start to lean yourself back just like you did before. But instead of focusing on the legs, we're going to give the legs a little bit of a break. I don't know, mine are a tiny bit tired, right? And instead, we'll push the chest up towards the ceiling and walk our hands as close as we can. Well, if you notice, pushing through the low back, the upper back, then open the throat to the sky, drop the head back as much as comfortable, as is comfortable. So for me right now, I'm in a huge passive stretch in my neck. I'm not supporting my head at all. It makes me dizzy and anxious, but I'm doing it. If you have any of the same sensations, that's fine. Try to breathe through them, push the heart to the ceiling. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift the head forward, nice and slow. Take the bend out of the back. Adjust to reality, try not to pass out. Inhale the hands high. My mom's worried right now that I'm gonna pass out. Exhale, sweep your hands down to your side. Kick your feet around, and we're back at tabletop. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. I hope you're enjoying our non-standing class, because we're about to get a bit more into it. Believe it or not, all of these are in preparation for our peak, and they're going to make a little bit of sense to you when you get there. So curl both toes under for support if you like. Otherwise, you can do untucked. For me right now, it feels more strong to have my toes tucked. Reach your left foot back, toes to the ground, option 1. As you might remember from some other classes, I don't want a big back bend here. I'd actually like you to try and counter tilt the pelvis. Then lift the foot high. Your core is pulling in super strong. Push through the hands. Breath in. Option to just stay here and work on this lift. Option to untuck the toe if you feel pressure in the knee. And then draw your right knee to your right tricep. Hold. Now I'm going to ask you to try to lift your knee as high as you can get it up on your tricep and squeeze it towards your butt as tight as you can. Round through your spine like you're in cat pose. And you're just gonna hang out here for the next 10 million years. Yes, that's it. 3, 10 million, 2, 1. And then reach the foot back, take it long. Breath in. Exhale, right knee to right tricep. This time we're moving. Inhale, sorry, left knee, left leg long. Exhale, left knee to left tricep. Inhale, left leg long. Exhale, release. Building. We're going to start now on our right side. Reach your right toes back. First, find that pelvic tilt. So I actually would prefer you to be rounding now, right? Wrists under shoulders. Then lift the right leg up. Option, just stay here and work on balance, or bend into the knee, bring the right knee to the outside of the tricep. Now I want it, maybe it's up on your shoulder, you got it so high. I want it as high as you can get it while trying to keep your hips sort of even. Then squeeze your foot towards your butt. So you're not only lifting knee to tricep, but the foot squeezing into the butt. Hold, breathe. You can do it. Breathe a little longer. 3, a little louder. 2, 1, reach the right leg long. This time we move, exhale, right knee to right tricep. Inhale, right leg long. Exhale, right knee to right tricep. Inhale, right leg long. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Inhale, bring it long. And then replace the right knee next to the left. Drop your belly, roll your shoulders back. Look high, cow pose. And then exhale, round into your cat. We'll come back to this position, but just a little bit of a reprieve, right? Everybody needs a reprieve now and then. I'm going to ask you to kick your left foot back once more. So extend the left foot back, but this time we're going to lift and then try to step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. So maybe you do the knee to the tricep thing, right? And then you step with control. Yeah, because control is the goal. Maybe you grab for your foot and you hop that bad boy up there. Find your arrangement. Then wiggle the right leg back. Place the knee back down. So as you can see, we were from here to tabletop. If this is a lot, you can stay here. Otherwise, you're going to hop that knee back as far as you can get it. And then sink the hips down. Push as you sink. So instead of just like totally chilling, I'd actually like you to imagine yourself pushing the right hip flexor down to the ground. Your left knee is going to stay glued into your tricep. If this is like impossible for you and you're just feeling that even here is really deep, you can come up slightly on the fingertips. Maybe you have blocks and you're up here. So we've got all different levels, right? That's why I said there's always the caveat. We're building to a thing. Sink those hips. Push the knee into the tricep. Now, I'm talking a lot because I want you to hold this pose for a bit longer. Option to stay here or option to come down to your forearms. It looks like I'm hiding behind my leg. That's kind of funny. I just look like one leg. All right, so I'm hiding behind my leg. Forearms, knee into the shoulder. This is like cracking me up, guys. I can see how silly this looks. Sink the hips down. Breathe in. And out. Another breath in. And out. All right, push into the hands, lift yourself up. Then we're going to, oh look, I'm back. We're going to come out the same way we came in. So wiggle, wiggle, wiggle the back knee back into tabletop. So what does that mean for you? That means your knee is in line with your hip. Then push into your hands, round through your upper spine. So you've got cat in the spine, right? Now try to lift your left foot up off the mat while keeping the knee connected to the tricep. Squeeze the foot to the butt and then extend the left foot back, toe to the ground, back to tabletop pose. Breath in. And out. Okay. Inhale. Right leg comes back. This time you can just bring it to the toe. Find that pelvic tilt. Then as you exhale, bring the right knee to the right tricep, and we're going to step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. So you might do the squeeze, and then very slow with control step, or you can do the hand, hop up, pull up, and then find that lunge. So there's always the option to stay in this version with the tabletop knee, right? If this feels comfortable, you can come onto the back toe, wiggle your leg back, wiggle, 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 and then lower the left knee back down to the ground. Now, I asked you on the other side to sink through the hips, but I also want you to press through the hips. So as we're in a passive stretch, you're actually encouraging the body to lower down a little bit more. Take a breath in and out. Now, option, once you feel like you're starting to come a bit more into the pose, to do what I do and disappear a little bit behind your leg. Sink down, hands can come to a fist or palms to prayer. Remember, the knee is hugging into the midline, so I actually want that knee pulling into the midline. Neck is relaxed, face is relaxed. Breath in and out. Another breath in and out. Come back to that intention. Push the hip down. Last one. Inhale. And then exhale, plant the hands down. Push yourself back up. We come out the same way we came in. Wiggle the back knee forward. Find the knee under the hip, right? Then wrists under shoulders, round through the spine. So create cat in the spine. Hug the knee into the tricep. I want you to lift the foot first. Hover. Then squeeze the foot towards the butt with that knee on the tricep. Reach the foot all the way back. Extend. And then back to tabletop pose. Drop your belly, roll your shoulders back, look high. Exhale, round, cat. Inhale, drop the belly, shoulders back, look high. Exhale, round, cat. Curl your toes under and sit your butt back. Come to broken toe pose. If this is not accessible for you, come to here or here, hands on the hips. If that's still not accessible, you can always come to a seat. The goal is really just to give you a break on your wrists. It's a lot of work on your wrists today, so I'd like you to shake out side to side. And a reminder, you stay where you are while I talk, a reminder that you can actually bring your hands a little bit more forward and have your alignment, instead of here, be here or here. It makes that angle a little bit more variable. Another option is to create fists, and push the knuckles down to the mat. So we've got one strong line. Stay where you are, breath in and out. Another breath in and out. Okay, this is our last bit on the wrists, and then we're gonna come back to a seat and work pretty much towards our peak pose. So reminder to take whatever adjustments you need to take for your wrists. You'll come back to your tabletop. And if you have rings, by the way, and you're doing fist option, please remove your rings first, or you're gonna hurt your hands. Here we go. This is the full Monty. Push your left leg back, left toe onto the ground. Lift, inhale. Exhale, left knee, left tricep, as high as you can get. Option one is to hold. Option two is to extend and flex the foot. Your knee should still be connected to your tricep with your leg entirely straight. You can laugh there because that's a ridiculous notion. I'm doing it right now and trying to sound cool, but this is so hard. Lift the leg, lift the leg. 3, 2, and 1. I can't hold it any longer. Bend back into the knee. Extend the foot back and release. So opposite side, that's it, right? Easy peasy. Right leg back, lift, take a breath in. Exhale, right knee to right tricep. Now option to hold, or you're going to keep your knee exactly where it is. Glue it to the tricep and straighten the leg. Oh my God. Straighten and squeeze, hold and breathe. Lift the foot high. 3, any amount of strain is fine. 2, oh, terrible. 1, who's teaching this class? Bend into the knee. Leg goes long, breath in. Exhale, oh, knees down, drop your belly, roll your shoulders back, look high, cat pose, cow pose, exhale, round to cat, kick the feet around, and we're coming right back to our seat. Fantastic work, team. Okay, here's where we're building a bit more to our final pose. Before we get there, I would like to work in our shoulders. So come to any form of a seat that's comfortable for you. You might be here, you might be sitting on a pillow, you might be on your knees. I don't really care what your lower body is doing right now at all. All I care about is the shoulders. So inhale, reach your hands high. Exhale, flip your palms out to the side. So this is the first movement, right? Just do this a couple times. Flip, 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 flip. You'll notice my shoulders aren't really moving, only my hand is flipping. Back to center. Now flip the hands and start to sweep them back. As you do this, your shoulders are going to naturally rotate. So sweep the hands back as much as you can and then bring the back of your hands to hover above your low back. It'll look like this. Might also look like this or this. Ideally, you want to find that rotation as much as you can. Now, reach the hands back out, flip. We're going to flip here. Do a little bit of flipping, a little bit of rocking, a little bit of rolling, and then flip forward, reach the hands up, maybe say hello to the chair like I did. Palms together. Exhale, release, hands by your side. So that's the movement. It's really a fairly simple movement, but what I want from you is to make fists this time. And you're going to squeeze your fists and squeeze your arms and squeeze all the muscles in your upper body in order to make this a higher effort, right? So sweep the hands high. If you have nails, you can tuck your thumb into your nails. Reach, your palms face each other, and then flip the hands up. We start with the flip. Squeeze your arms, squeeze your triceps, squeeze everything. 3, 2, 1. Flip the hands out. Now sweep them back as far as you can get without moving any other part of your body. You're going to sweep and rotate, rotate, rotate until the back of the hands are going to hover above the low back. You can give your bump fists. Yeah, you're doing it. Give yourself a fist bump. Reach the hands up, reach them up. If they touch the low back, that's fine. I want you to just try to find that rotation, the connection. Squeeze through the arms. 3, 2, 1. Now straighten the palms out and flip up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Is it weird? This is making me the most sweaty. Up, down. Now flip out and then sweep the hands up and back as high as you can get them until palms face each other. And release, hands by your sides. Take a breath in. Shake the hands out, shake the shoulders out, release. Okay, so today's pose, now that we're making our way to it, is compass pose. Compass pose is a crazy pose. If you have a strap at home, I can cue you through the strap as well, and you can play with that. But likely most of us are going to stop it just in this beginning phase, and I will give you all the options to play with. But remember, the main thing I care about in yoga is that you're just learning about your body, you're having fun, and you're moving. So do this without ego and more with play, with fun, right? So you will start kind of like we did before when we were on the ground. Let's bring your left foot in towards your butt. Right foot extends. I think you need to do this. I'm not sure. I can't remember. All right. Then once you're there, you're going to bend into your extended leg. And this is option 1. Just like we did on the ground, I want you to bring the hands forward, and you might just hang out here and fold. Right? Foot in, bend to the leg, fold. Option 2 is you're going, and you can have a pillow under your butt, by the way. Option 2, just like we did on the floor, and we're going to do this together because it's cooler if we control it, right? I want you to try to lift your foot up to this 90-degree bend, just like we did when we were on the ground, and then grab for your foot. Perfect. Pull the foot back towards your shoulder. Your knee is on the outside of your shoulder, right? This is option 2. You can use your extended hand for support. Shoulders are even. Sit nice and tall. Doing it, killing it. Either here, or here. Option 3, this is where it starts to get a little weird. I'm gonna admit it. Option 3 is you can take both hands And you're going to try to wear your leg like a backpack. Yeah, that's what I told you, it's gonna get weird. So you might bring the leg over the shoulder here, and then I got my hand here, and I'm just extending and hanging out. Last but not least, you can work on grabbing that foot with the opposite hand, hand comes down to the ground. Maybe you start to straighten the leg any amount. Maybe if it feels okay, you can reach the foot up, gaze high, and we're in compass. But like I said, that's a lot. So we're going to switch out. Actually, let's stay on this side. Everybody come back out, whatever you've chosen. I'm going to work you in it one more time, and then I'm going to give you your options. So everybody comes, foot is still in. I don't know if it's your right or left leg. This leg is on the ground. I'm confused when I try to mirror, not in person. Okay, here we go. With control, lift your leg up. Find that bend first. Hand can come here, or maybe you just work on lifting and putting the foot on the ground. This is a great movement to work on. So option one, you might stop there, do that. Option two, knee to the tricep, hold and breathe, hand extends. Option three, maybe you just straighten here, working through the hamstring, and hold. Wherever you stop, I want you to take 5 breaths before you move on to the other side. So if you feel comfortable here, remember the next step is to take your opposite hand, grab for the foot, and then put this bad boy on like a backpack. Hand can come down for your support. Maybe you grab, straighten, reach, and then I think you're supposed to point your toe. Come fully into compass, breathe, 3. Remember, you're taking 5 breaths, whatever you've chosen. Maybe you're here. 2. And 1. Is that 5? It's probably 5. Release. Come to the opposite side. So actually, let's take a moment, both feet extended. Bounce, maybe back here. You might notice that one side's a little bit different than the other. That's fine. We might move a bit quicker on this side, but you'll draw the foot in, right? This is our first step. We have our pose we were already doing in class. Then you can work the foot up here. Option 1 to begin is maybe you fold and just work on this folding. This is a lot. Next, you could come here, sit up, and work on lifting the foot. So no matter who you are or what you're doing, if you're moving forward, I want you to be mindfully lifting the foot first without your hand. You can work on lift. This is so much in the hip flexor. You can just work on this. If you feel comfortable, grab for the foot. Then just like we're in happy baby, the knee comes to the outside of the tricep as you plug that foot back, or the knee back, right? If that feels okay, we move on to the land of the weird. You're going to take your opposite hand, grab for the foot, and then put your knee on like a backpack. And if anyone ever looks in the window while you're trying to do this, they're gonna be like, what is even happening here? So once you have the knee on like the backpack, you can extend the opposite hand down and then flip. Notice I'm here. I flip the hand to the outside of the foot. Option to play here or to play here and straighten. So work on your straightening. Remember, you've got 5 breaths. If your knee is here, you can work to straighten. I'm not going to do it on the side because I pulled my hamstring a while ago and it's almost healed. So I'm not going to tempt fate. And instead, I'm going to work in an area that's safe for my body, which for me is going to be here today. Sitting nice and tall and breathing. You're going to get one more chance on this side. 3, 2, 1, release, shake it out. Why do we do twice on each side? Not to torture you, but to really give you an opportunity to cue in on what's moving. And if you find yourself getting frustrated or bored, ask yourself more questions. Be like, what am I doing? How am I going to move into this position? So let's take it one more time, team. Here we go. Hands by your sides. Lift the foot. This is a ton of work. Maybe we're just going to lift and move with control in and out of this 90-degree bend. If that feels okay, you can grab for the foot, then bring the knee to the outside of the tricep and you just pull the knee in and sit nice and tall. Maybe you play with lifting your hand this time and just being like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, option to reach from the opposite hand, put your foot on, your knee on like a backpack and hold there. Maybe you grab for the outside edge of the foot, extend the arm. Maybe you straighten the leg here. I'm not going to. Or maybe you go for the full version of the pose by tucking up and under. You choose. You've got just a couple more breaths. 3. I'm gonna do this one for a little bit. 2. And 1. Slowly come out of whatever you were in, and then bring your feet back to the ground. This time, come out of it however you need, maybe with your hands. Walk your feet in front of you. Then windshield wiper your legs side to side. Come to center. Lift the feet up, maybe 2 toes touch. Navasana, just briefly. I gotta tell you guys, my legs are shaking like crazy. We did some crazy work. Who knew you could have so much fun without even standing up? Legs go long, hands go long, round, hover and hold. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Now, a really good counter movement for what we just did is bridge pose. But before we get there, I'd actually like you to imagine, close your eyes. Place your palms face up by your sides. Curl your toes back towards your face and push into your heels. Now, I want you to imagine you're standing. Core is in. Imagine what it would feel like or what muscles you would need to engage, what shape your body would be in if the ground was on your feet. Push down into the ground, metaphor, ground, with your feet. Extend through the arms. Your glutes should just be almost quivering and squeezing as they engage to support you here. 3, 2, 1, and release. Relax through the glutes. Wiggle the feet. Wiggle the hips. Then take 1 foot next to your butt. The other foot, and here's our really juicy counteracting pose. If we had another half hour, I would take us through a million other ones where we lengthen the hip flexors, but we'll just do that next week. So press the hands down into the mat, then inhale, lift the hips up and push them to the sky. So this is the opposite action, right, of trying to draw the knee up and in. I want you to push your hip flexors up. So if you're pushing anything up, it's not your butt, it's not your hips themselves, it's those little hip flexors in the front that have done so much work today. Maybe you even take the hands off the ground and you push into your hip flexors to release them. Breathe deep. One more inhale. And then exhale, release all the way to the ground, 1 vertebra at a time. Palms come to a T, so bring your arms all the way out into a T shape and press them down into the ground, your palms and your arms being. And then we'll take an easy twist. This time, keep your knees at 90 if you can, and then just drop your knees over to the left side, as always, controlled. Maybe you'll hear your spine pop, mine just like. And then if it feels okay on your neck, keep the right shoulder glued to the ground and gaze over to the right. Breath in. And out. Another breath in. And out. Breath in. Out. Press the palms into the ground. Engage through your core, bring yourself back through center. Knees stay at the 90-degree bend and then knees over to the right side. Twist through the upper body. Gaze over to the left if it feels okay. And then adjust through the shoulders if you can. That left shoulder stays glued to the ground. Close your eyes. Breath in. And out. Another breath in. And out. Breath in. And out. Press the palms down into the mat. Inhale back to center. Now, a few options. We have about another minute. So if there's anything else you'd like to add into your practice, maybe you can move your legs in a circle and massage the low back. Maybe you want to take a seat quickly and pound through your quads. If you were someone who, if you cramped constantly during our quad work today, don't worry, you're not alone. It happens in class a lot. And all that means is that you need to take more opportunities to do those movements. So I recommend repeating this class. If that was hard for you, repeating this class once a week until you start to feel those symptoms lessen. And they will, I promise, don't worry. So take your movements that you need to feel resolved. Maybe shut down your eyes. And then once you're ready, you can start to prop yourself up for Shavasana. So if you have any pain under your low back, you could put pillows under your knees as you lay down to support you. If you live in a cold-ish climate or a very cold climate, you could grab a full fuzzy sweater, a blanket, your wool socks. Just move into a Shavasana that makes you feel comfortable and supported. And then once you have yourself all padded up and comfortable, you can extend your hands out to your sides, palms face up. Shut your eyes down. Allow your toes to fall out. And then return to your intention one more time before we melt into Shavasana. Whatever you set for yourself for class or maybe for the year, that thing you're bringing into your life. And as they say, practice makes perfect. So give yourself a little grace, knowing that it takes time to set an intention. Things might change. You might hit some bumps along the way. But that's not a bad thing. It just makes you human. Breath in. And this time, an open mouth exhale, side out. Close the mouth. Wiggle the jaw side to side. Relax the space behind your eyes. And then surrender fully into your expression of Shavasana.
you would like to stay in Shavasana, please just shut me off, close your laptop, turn off this video and drift back off. Because if it were me, I'd want a few more minutes. But if you are ready to come out, you can just gently invite some movement into your body, beginning with a full inhale and a full exhale. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, rock your head side to side. And then eventually allow your movements to get larger. Open the mouth, move your jaw, wiggle your hips, your shoulders. And when you feel like it's time to transition out of the practice, roll over on your favorite side using your arm as a pillow into our fetal pose. Our posture of rebirth and renewal. This is our first rebirth and renewal of the new year. So take just a brief moment to reflect on the changes in both your mind, your body, maybe your resolve related to the intention that you set for the year. And then press yourself up to a comfortable seat facing any direction. You can bring your palms together at heart center, or maybe two hands over the heart, whatever feels more authentic. Take a slow breath in and a slow open mouth exhale. Again, slow breath in. Slow open mouth exhale. Your palms can either stay at your heart, or maybe you bring your two thumbs to the center of your forehead, your third eye. One more slow breath in. Slow open mouth exhale. Thank you all for joining me. Happy Sunday. Namaste. Great work, everyone. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and I will see you next week. As always, you can message me if you have any questions about class or if you want to talk about retreats. We still have a few spots left for Montana, so I would love to see you. Talk soon.